This is Time Warp interview, and I'm with Chief Palatine,
Thomas Jefferson,
Patrick Henry.
Hi. This is Carl with Time Warp's interview.
with James Madison,
Interview.
with Abraham Lincoln,
George Mason.
Jefferson Davis,
My name is Harriet Tubman. Nat
Interview.
Turner.
Arthur Ashe,
L. Douglas Wilder,
Arthur Ashe,
Thomas Stonewall Jackson.
Arthur Ashe,
Woodrow Wilson.
Bell Robert Boyd.
Robert Lee.
Well, thank you for having me. Brian, do you have anything to say? Well, my brain's a little rusty. I have a daughter. Her name is Pocahontas. Were you very angry when England started taking your land? Oh, I was furious. We started to agree on something. If you steal our land, we're going to take some of yours.
Is it true that you were called the father of the country?
Yes.
Father of the country?
Yes. They elected me to be your first president. First president.
I wrote a speech. Give me liberty or give me death. I wrote a speech. Some make me cry, peace, peace. But there is no peace. Why stand we here idle? Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
So, George Mason, what did you write?
The Declaration of Rights. Rights.
Were there any great events in your lifetime?
Leader of the Union. I was the 16th president, so that was pretty cool.
I was the president of the Confederate States. I wanted to keep slavery.
When I was young, I had a very religious childhood. Many slaves actually were taught to read in secret, so I decided to have a revolt against the white people. A revolt is basically like an attack against a certain cause, and mine was against slavery.
I was born as a slave. Slaves are people that are bought. The Underground Railroad was a place where people that were helping slaves get away. Then you would get to Pennsylvania, and I'm not a slave anymore. I went back and forth and helped over 300 fugitive slaves.
I was born at Virginia, and I served as the general of the Confederate Army.
Wow, was that hard?
Yes, I lost against Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. When I was on my horse during the Civil War, some guy walked over and said, "Hey, look at Jackson standing there like a stone wall." During the war, I got shot right here, so they had to cut it off. That's what they did back then.
Well, the Civil War started when I was 14. I became a spy, a Confederate spy. I married a Union soldier, and I stole some plans from him, and I gave them to Stonewall Jackson so he would know what to do.
I was a famous Virginian because I was the first African American to be elected governor of Virginia, and I served in the Korean War. I earned a Bronze Star for heroism at Chop Hill.
I never even thought as a little boy growing up in Richmond that I would ever make it to Wimbledon, but I practiced and I learned from my 4th grade teacher. You know what I learned? Practice makes permanent. I must have had Mrs. Bright for a teacher. So I did a lot of tennis, and I am in the history books as a famous Virginian. I was the first black man to win the men's single tennis title at Wimbledon.
I wonder. Mine's a little fuzzy, so